the keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback podcast time. Welcome to the 49ers Cutback War Room, because we're about to mock draft, and we all have to come to an agreement on who we're going to take.
That's going to be tough.
This could get interesting real quick.
Very quick.
Hope you're ready to lose that wig that you wear on your head.
Wig this whole time.
The whole time.
He's like David Spade and Tommy Boy.
Basically, it might as well be. My word, I didn't even know it was
There's
a wig.
no way your hair's that perfect.
You know, Gorilla Glue.
Oh, yikes! It's the first singer of the night, boys! My word, what's going on, David Williams? David Williams says hi, how you doing there? Robbie Swink says hello as well.
Hello,
nice
Uncle
little
Rob,
wave.
how are you?
My dog, Rob Swing.
What's going on? We got a mock draft,
We do.
ladies and germs. So we got ourselves a nice mock draft 1.0. Rules for tonight, pretty simple, nothing too crazy. First and foremost, no trades.
Yeah.
So the 49ers, us, will be making absolutely no trades. The computer may make some trades. There may be some stuff going on there, and if there are some trades, we'll talk about maybe what the teams did, especially if it may have an impact on what we're going to be doing. But that's the first things first, no trades whatsoever.
Yeah, we're going to wait and bring out the trades in the next one, because I think it could get real ridiculous. If you see people's mock drafts with trades, they trade down about 20,000 times, pick up 800 picks, and then draft, 28 players that are never going to make the roster.
It's like Madden.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like your Madden franchise.
Yeah, I mean, let's be realistic. They have 10 selections. The likelihood of them making 10 selections is probably not that good. You're probably going to use some of those picks to move up, strategically and pick the guys you want. For this one, we're going to make those picks, but I'm sure the next time the goal will be to draft the top players that we can get in the top 150.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't worry. We're going to do it eventually.
We are, but before we get any further into this, make sure you hit the like button right now on the stream. That way this thing gets pumped out in the YouTube algorithm to other people so they can come and join and watch and enjoy this live stream, this mock draft, or they can watch the replay later in our past live streams folder. Hit that subscribe button as well if you're not or subscribed already, that notification bell. That way, every time we do go live or we just post a video, you're here. You want to be here.
That's right. Make sure you're here. Make sure you're part of the conversation.
All right, so we'll get this thing started. We'll start here on this nice little big screen we got here. So we can see some of the settings already that we have for the draft. Obviously, we're going to be the San Francisco 49ers, which we have selected there, down there in the bottom. I don't know if you can see. Let me see if I can drag this over a little bit. No, I cannot drag it over. That's okay. Oh, that's right. I can go to the large screen here. There we go. We have 7 rounds selected there right next to my face. It's beautiful. Speed of the draft a little bit slower. Care for positional value. We put that a little bit higher this draft. We're trying to reduce some of the randomness, I think.
Right.
I think that was all the thing we kind of agreed on. You can see the randomness slider set a little bit lower, and then draft for need about 50-50, because all of us pretty much felt like, for the most part, teams typically draft for need about half the time.
Yeah, I think half the teams draft for need and half the teams draft best available player.
You meant the 7 was beautiful, right?
Yeah, definitely not my face. No, we're not talking about my face being beautiful. The 7 next to my face.
Okay, just double.
was the thing there. That beautiful, wonderful round 7. You guys ready to get this started?
Yeah, let's get it going.
Chat, are you ready to get this thing going? I can't see anything from the chat. I'm going to assume chat's ready. I'm going to assume the chat
I don't
is ready.
see any chats yet. So.
I don't see many chats at all either, but you know what? It's fine. They're just waiting in
But
anticipation.
Alex Horst chatted, so that's cool.
He did chat. That's weird. It's weird.
All right, let's get this thing going.
We're entering this draft right now. On the clock, as you can see, the Jacksonville Jaguars getting ready to make their selection. We're going to start this thing off.
If they don't take Trevor, do we just stop?
Trevor Lawrence.
No, they took Trevor Lawrence there. I mean, is anyone surprised by this? I don't feel like anyone should be surprised.
No, I don't think so.
Number 2, the Jets took Justin Fields.
Jamar Chase goes at 3 to the Dolphins.
Micah Parsons,
the inside linebacker to Penn State, goes 4. Jalen Waddle goes 5.
I'm going to tell you, I love me some Micah Parsons, by the way.
I do as well.
Penny Sewell is gone.
Yep.
Shocking.
Zach
Kyle
Wilson
Pitts.
gone. Devontae Smith
Caleb
gone.
Farley is a little high.
Not when you're the Dallas Cowboys and you need
Oh my.
guys.
So there's a lot going on there.
Interesting.
Penei Sewell fell all the way to 8. That is crazy insane.
I'd have rather he fell to 12.
Devontae Smith there at 7 to the Lions.
Sounds about right.
Zach Wilson goes to the Eagles after
Makes
that
sense
trade.
now.
Absolutely makes
Yeah.
sense. Kyle Pitts goes to the Broncos there at 9. Caleb Farley there at 10. And then Rashawn Slater, the tackle to Northwestern, at 11 to the Giants, which also kind of makes sense. So that now puts us up on the clock.
So there's one name that sticks out right away.
And
I think there's two, right? Because there's Trey Lance and then there's Mac Williams.
100%. There's Trey Lance and there's Mac Williams. Let's pull through some of this here. Let's scroll down.
Mac
Jones, excuse me. So you have Trey Lance there, K-Woody Pay as well, and then Christian Barrymore. I don't think a lot of us are super high on Christian Barrymore there.
No.
I don't want to draft an interior.
Actually, the highest guy on my board right there in that group is Patrick Surtain.
I believe Patrick Surtain is the highest as well in mine, but I do have Trey Lance not that far behind him there. In this spot at 12.
Well, let's be realistic. If Trey Lance is sitting there, you can make a nice trade for someone that
Right
wants
now,
him.
the Bears are desperate to come up and take Trey Lance or Mac Jones.
And even
And
New
in
England,
fact, if you can
even New
look-
England might be, honestly.
The Vikings here want to trade with us really badly. That's interesting. The Bears are here as well, and you can see the Bears at 20 would want to trade up about 10 spots there and try and get
And
themselves
we
into
would
this
be
spot.
able to get the haul like Todd McShay talked about, but we
Absolutely.
can't trade.
No trades.
I do not want to draft Trey Lance. I
No,
think
me
everyone,
either.
I think a lot of 49er fans would like to draft Trey Lance here. I don't want to
At
draft him.
12, no.
No, and in fact, the only guy in that list that I'm really interested to either draft Patrick Surtain or a defensive edge rusher. I
Is
think
Gregory
it's a little
Russo
early.
still there?
He is still going to be there, I believe.
Yeah.
We can pull it
Check
up
the
just
edge
to be
rusher.
sure. We can pull up those edge rushers.
See, I think that's a
yeah.
good. See, I rate Russo above both Owa and Quiddy Pay.
I don't
do
know
as
if I-
well.
I don't know if I have him above Quiddy Pay. I think it's close.
Oh,
But Russo there. I do like Russo there.
I'm low on Quiddy Pay.
And I think the thought process here for most of us is that I think as much as we all would like to go
check
DB,
out corners too.
as much as we'd like to go DB here, I put both of them in there. We don't want both. We just want one of them. As much as I like corners here, there are some guys on this list that I like almost as much as Surtain that we can get a little bit later.
Yeah. If this exact scenario came up, I would want to trade back.
Yes.
To me, 12 is not the sweet spot that everyone makes it sound like. It is the sweet spot for trades. But since we have to make a pick, I think we need to decide if we want to go corner, Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn are the two options at corner. Edge rusher, we have those possibilities. I do not like Quiddy Pay, so I will not be going with. I do not want to go with Quiddy Pay.
My personal feeling is that Farley is the corner you would want there that's worth that pick. And that I think on my board, this is a Gregory Russo if you're not trading.
Gregory Russo is lower on my board than Azeez Al-Jawlari, just so everyone knows. So that we are going to have to come to an agreement on somebody. So the question is, do we want to do that, or is there still an offensive tackle that we might want to choose? Is Rashawn Slater still available?
No,
Slater
he
is
got
gone.
picked.
He's gone.
He was one of the first ones gone. You have Darius Shaw,
Darius Shaw, I don't go into
Tevin
the
Jenkins,
20s.
and Elijah
See, I have-
Vera-Tucker.
I have Darisaw and Vera-Tucker in the mid to late 20s.
All right, so I think it comes down to whether we want to go edge or corner. What do you guys want?
I think we need to go edge.
We need to go edge.
I think we should go edge here.
So are we going to go Russo?
I have Russo above Azeez Al-Jawlari
So do I.
on my list here.
All right, I'm just going to tell you guys are wrong, but we can draft him. I'll tell people why, though. Ojulari is a speed rusher off the edge. I think that Russo may translate more to the inside. He reminds me more of a little bit of a more athletic Buckner. I don't think he's that much different than he is, stature-wise. He's putting on size. He didn't play this year. Ojulari is a speed rusher from the outside. Yes, he fits more in a 3-4 scheme, but I think this is the D Ford replacement because of the speed. But we can go with Gregory Russo. I don't hate him. I like him. I just don't like him as much as Azeez Al-Jawlari. In fact, I'm not even sure I like Gregory Russo as much as Jalen Phillips.
I mean, I
like Jalen Phillips, but to me, he's an early second round guy.
What about your boy Collins here?
I absolutely love Zaven Collins. I don't think there's any way they would take him at 12.
Okay, all right.
But I think he may be he may be like one of the greatest sleepers in the draft. that no
I'm
one
fine
talks
with
about.
either Russo or Ojulari.
David Williams here is thinking we need to definitely go cornerback or D-line. He's thinking we need those things heavy. O-line, I think is what it says.
Oh, he thinks
O-line. O-line.
So he's
I
wanting
don't,
to wait to go edge rush.
I don't think O-line is a pick you're going to take here unless it's Rashawn Slater. Or, God forbid, something happens and you get Penei Sewell there at 12.
Well, if Penei Sewell was even close, yes.
Yeah.
But I think that besides Penei Sewell, Slater, because he can play guard and tackle, but there's guys you can get in the second, third, fourth round to play interior line.
Mm-hmm.
And Darisaw would be too early
At that spot.
if you're not in the 20s.
I can tell you right now, if on draft day, if we are live, if Penei Sewell falls to 12, I will flip this table.
If he falls to 10, I think there's rumblings that maybe you trade up.
If he gets to 8 where Carolina's at, I think you're trying to trade up to get him.
I think so also.
Well, that's another mock draft, though.
That's another mock draft. Let's go with the safe one. We'll go with the one, Gregory Rousseau. We got two of us here who are comfortable with him a little bit higher on our board. We'll take Gregory Rousseau there at 12. The Chargers are now on the clock. They are going to be picking, and they are going to be taking, it looks like defensive interior line is what they need.
So we got Surtain, Trey Lance to New England.
They took Christian Barrymore, Patrick Surtain.
Bad pick by the Cardinals.
Patrick Surtain goes
to the Raiders.
Look at that.
That's a little early.
That's a Raider pick.
A little bit.
Mac Jones, I see that to Chicago.
Chicago needs him. That's why we could have traded back to 20.
Yeah, and New England took Trey Lance there at that
And if
spot.
we would have traded back to 20, we still could have got an edge rusher that we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Rondale Moore at 22 seems early.
Or J.C. Horn, who went... Yep, J.C. Horn to the Pittsburgh Steelers to replace Joe Hayden would make sense.
See, I would be fine with your guy Ojulari at 20 if Russo went above that.
Kyle Trask
and
at
getting
28.
extra picks.
Yeah, that's early.
That's very, very early.
Asante Samuel in the first round.
I think that's early for him, too.
Absolutely.
Zaven Collins goes end of 2.
Man, what a pick for Tampa Bay there.
So to me, that's a little high for Ravens as well, because I think he's going to be an interior guy in the pros.
Well, he's going to be a guard, but he's probably the best overall guard.
You think he's better than Wyatt Davis?
Maybe not.
So Leatherwood went Carlos Basham there. I like Carlos Basham a lot. I still think that's really early there, early second for him. I see him more as a mid to late round, second round pick.
Right.
Any names here? Let's kind of go back up to us. Any names here that you're surprised by that were taken by some of these teams in this first mock draft?
The first standout is I think that's too high for Rashad Bateman, but it's something the Raiders would do.
It's a little. I think it's a little shocking to me because John Gruden seems to like a little bit more the speed guys, and I don't think Bateman's the speed guy.
I think Rondale Moore to the Titans is kind of surprising. I mean, he's not really a fit for what they do. They're a run-first team, and then he's a quick receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't really work out there, in my opinion.
Well, especially with them needing, as it shows here, it shows them needing guards and an edge rusher. There are some edge rushers there that you can take at that spot who are available. I'm a little shocked by that as well. Anyone else here that we're looking at that you guys
I think Tevin Jenkins is an interesting pick at 27.
Correct. I mean, that's a smidge early.
But they're going to need a tackle because Orlando Brown has made it very clear he does not want to play right tackle next year.
Correct.
So either him or Ronnie Stanley's going to have to go.
Absolutely.
Until they both line up because they're not going to move him.
You don't think they're going to move at all?
No.
I mean, it would be kind of silly to do that, I think. But,
I mean, he hasn't made huge money. He's not sitting out.
Correct as well. Elijah Vera Tucker there at 31. I think that's a really good.
That'd be a nice pickup.
It's a really good.
I would take Wyatt Davis.
I would imagine that
he might play tackle.
Why I was to say I imagine this take here for the Chiefs is going to end up being a guard position and not a tackle, most likely.
I think it'll be a tackle because they have Fisher injured his Achilles. He might miss the entire 2021 season.
Correct.
That's true. That's a long.
But they do have two tackles that held out that are coming back.
That's true, but this is a first-round talent.
Also true as well. Zaven Collins there for 32 for the Bucks.
One of my
I think
favorite
that's
guys.
a great pick.
I think that's a huge pick for them.
And I think he fits everything they do.
I think he fits the things that they do as well, but I'm a little concerned as to how he's going to play.
What do you mean, how's he going to play?
How's he going to get on the field? With the linebacking core they already have in place.
They have a free agent linebacker.
I mean...
So they're replacing him?
I guess. Yeah. We'll see.
I mean, you can't teach that size, speed, athleticism.
True as well. New England is not picking a quarterback in the first round. No way. For Miss Megan Davidson.
I don't think
Megan
so
B.
either. I agree.
I don't think they are either. But again, this thing has a need set at a certain rate, so the computer is going to select that quarterback for New England. Let's get this thing resumed.
Yep.
Eagles are on the clock at 37 there. They go Travis Etienne. I think that's the first running back off the board. Jalen Phillips
in the second round.
I really like Jalen Phillips, especially there at that spot. That's not a bad
Me
one.
too.
Pat Freiermuth goes a little earlier than I think he should go. Samuel Cosme and Walker Little, back-to-back tackles. Walker Little there is a little surprising, and
that's high.
That's also tackle.
Very high.
Tackle for the Giants. Giants went Slater in the first round and then go Walker Little in the second round.
Giants need the big people.
I have Walker Little going in the fourth round if I took him.
So right now is the right.
Wyatt.
We have
Holy Schneikes at oh my gosh.
Yeah, do we go interior line? We got probably we got Landon Dickerson, the center, Wyatt Davis at guard.
I don't think you can let Wyatt Davis pass you if you were to fall to here.
You can't let who pass?
Wyatt Davis.
I don't think you can let him pass at 35 either. 43, excuse me. I don't think that's possible either. Because there are some names in here that I really, really like.
Agreed.
Jevon Holland is one of those names, and you kind of brought him up to me as well.
Yeah.
He is a very talented quarterback.
Yeah, I like him too.
But, oof, man, I don't know.
My favorite player in the second round is a edge rusher, and we already drafted one, so we're not going to draft.
Who is that? What edge rusher is that?
Tryon from Washington.
Okay.
Joe Tryon.
Yep.
That he's my favorite edge rusher in the second round, but since we already went Gregory Rousseau in the first, we're not going to go Joe Tryon right now. So
I think we have to go Wyatt Davis because I think a lot of us have Wyatt Davis as a first-round talent.
I like Wyatt
dang
Davis.
near close.
I like Wyatt Davis. I like Landon Dickerson. I'm okay with either one of those guys.
Because I just think, I think that our biggest need is going to be right guard. So
why is that the biggest need?
Because I think I'm assuming we don't get Weston Richburg back. If we get Weston Richburg back, I don't know, but I think Brunskill's going to play center
if we have a center, Brunskill plays guard. If we have a guard, Brunskill plays center. I don't think it's a real question of Brunskill being on the field. Wyatt Davis is better than Brunskill, though.
I agree.
I would agree with that as well.
But also, Weston Richburg is better than a lot of these guys. So if we're choosing between Dickerson and Wyatt Davis, I'm going Wyatt Davis.
I would agree as well. I think that's the comfort level for everybody is Wyatt Davis there at that spot.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pull the trigger on Wyatt Davis, guard from Ohio State. Dallas is now up on the clock next. They take Terrence Marshall Jr. That's a little bit of a surprise.
So we'll just pause it at the end of the second round and go over the picks.
We'll definitely do that. I like the fact that Wyatt Davis is there. I think you could see a situation where if the Niners end up trading back at 12, that they get another pick in this second round that they could add to their arsenal this year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe get a second this year and a first next year, potentially, or even a late first this year and maybe an early third. I think there's going to be a lot of talent in those spots.
I think Chicago is going to be desperate to move up in the first round and get a quarterback. Well. And if even one of those guys is available, they're going to want to come up. And I think McShay laid it out perfectly. If just flopping first round picks this year, second round pick, and then next year a first to second round pick. So Niners to get a haul and then be able to kind of move around.
I agree. We're going to pause it here. We'll pause
Marvin Wilson going second round.
Woo, that's pretty. It's pretty high there. We'll go back to the top after us. Dallas Cowboys go Terrence Marshall. A little bit of surprise at the wide receiver addition there to their.
Yeah, I don't see the Dallas going wide receiver.
I don't. I think that would be. I think there'd be pitches.
Pitchforks.
Pitchforks. I was struggle bussing there. Landon Dickerson there at 45, not a shock. Anyone here that you guys are looking at that surprises you a little bit?
I mean, this is kind of, you got people drafting for need.
I would be pretty upset if Jevon Holland got to the Seahawks there in the second round.
Yeah, that would be a little upsetting as well.
But it's a good pick.
It's a great pick. I don't really see anything here that kind of
except for Marvin Wilson.
Marvin Wilson's a little shocking. I did enjoy right here the Dolphins taking Aleem McNeil. If you haven't watched this guy's tape, go watch it. It is impressive. He is incredible. He's extremely explosive off the ball his first couple of steps. He just looks like a little tank. He's a little on the shorter side, but man, his tape is a whole heck of a lot of fun.
I will also be surprised if New England drafts De'Ami Brown, a receiver in the second round. I don't see them going receiver in the second round after N'Keal Harry.
No.
I look for them to probably try to get someone later on in the draft. That's just kind of what they do.
I agree with that as well. All right, so let's reset this thing. Let's restart it, anyway. Resume this draft. We're in the third round now. Jaguars on the clock. They go with safety Paris Ford. Javonte Williams is off the board, running back.
Najee goes into the third round.
That is a little surprising there to me, the fact that the Jets would take Javonte Williams before Najee Harris.
Fit.
Scheme fit, because they're running a little bit more similar to the Niners offense.
Yeah.
Looking for the speed guy. Makes sense. Milifanu, a guy that you and I are both pretty high on, Ant.
Yep.
Cisco.
It's time to unleash the dragon.
Eric Stokes, a big fan of Eric Stokes, cornerback out of Georgia.
Is that JJ's brother?
Totally JJ Stokes' brother, absolutely.
Tommy Togia,
Giants go wide receiver Cade Johnson there. That's a little suspect.
Patriots forfeited because your team cheats, Megan. Creed
Humphrey's gone.
Creed Humphrey.
I know a lot of people are very high on Creed Humphrey.
Absolutely. Jamie Newman to the Washington football team.
I can see that.
Good also. I still think that's early for him, but
I do as well.
It is what it is.
Jalen Darden. Oh, that's the guy from North Texas. That guy's pretty good.
Davis Mills.
Don't see it.
Interesting take there.
There's
Kenneth
Joe Tryon, made it all the way to the third round.
Wow.
That's nice because he's a guy that you're in the second. There goes Benjamin St. Juice. I'm a little surprised by that there in the third.
I think he's a third.
I think he is too. I'm just surprised that they have him going there to Minnesota. I figured that would be a Browns pick.
Oh, could be.
Browns went back-to-back edge rusher in this one.
Brevin Jordan.
Chargers, that'd
be a great value pick right there.
Well, especially Hunter Henry's a free agent.
Correct. Jordan Smith, a guy that I'm a big fan of at a UAB, and you are as well, Ant.
I love him.
Love that guy as well, especially in this round. That would have been a nice grab there to get. I do see two names right off the get-go on the board right now that both of you are huge fans of. Demetric Felton, a guy that you have projected round 3, Ant, that you love to death. Amon-Ra St. Brown, a receiver that Horst, if you watched our wide receiver ranking special, Horst has him in his top 5 receivers in this draft class and in the 49ers scheme to fit. Those are two really good guys there. There's also a center here.
Oh my God.
We're a fan of, Quinn Minears.
Yeah.
He
lets the belly out.
Right around in this area as well. Quincy Roche, and another guy that's on both of our big boards that we like a lot.
Dylan Moses down here.
Dylan Moses, linebacker out of Alabama. Big fan of.
I like Cornwell Powell as well.
Cornwell Powell.
I will say this. I think it's a little early to go receiver.
I do as well at this point.
And I think we can't go interior line since we already did go interior line.
Correct.
I don't think we can do that again. I don't want to go running back, even though I love Demetric Felton. I do not want to go running back in round 3.
Correct.
I think we need to address we need to get a good value pick here.
Okay.
We might need to look at the cornerback position, possibly. I mean, I'm willing to look at other things, but I think there's
your boy Trill Williams, Ant. I
love Trill Williams because I think he would be a great nickel corner at the next level. He's a playmaker. He finds the ball from Syracuse. This guy, he hits hard. He's a good player, and I like him in that place. I know you guys weren't huge on Shaun Wade, but Shaun Wade's somebody that I like as well.
But in the third round is different than we're talking for. Excuse me, we're in the third, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
In the third round, Shaun Wade has a lot of value.
Correct.
I meant as a high pick. I don't want.
I do have guys I like later on, and I think we probably need to address the cornerback position more than once.
I agree as well with that.
Do we want to go corner in the third round and address it again later? We're going to go 15 picks from now. We're going to have another choice.
Let's be honest. They have 0 corners on their roster at the moment.
Correct.
So
and
picking up 2 is.
I'm going to be 100% honest. I got some corners later in the draft too that I'm a big fan of, Ant, that are on that list as well. You had brought up and mentioned Keith Taylor as well.
Late in the 7th.
In the 7th. Yeah. That's not a bad take. I watched some of his film after I saw your list. I liked him there. I did like a lot of the things that I saw.
What did you think about Israel Makunu from South Carolina?
I didn't watch a whole lot, but I did like some of the things that I saw out of him, a few of the things. He doesn't get beat a lot.
and he's 6'4". He's like
Huge.
205, 210. He's got to put some weight on his frame.
A little bit. The physicality isn't there yet for him.
Yeah.
But you don't have to worry about people like picking size-wise on him. And I think the physicality based on his frame and everything else that he already has, like built in, I think the physicality portion can come with it. Because he's not... You don't watch film and walk away and think soft.
Yeah.
You just watch film and think he's got a little bit more than he needs to add on. What happened now?
My guy Jason Hill's comment and said nothing named Cornwell ever.
Yikes. Big yikes. Anyway, that's beside the point. I think there's a lot of good corners right here in this spot. Kerry Vincent is a guy that I had brought up and talked to you guys.
You did.
He led the SEC in pass defense and pass breakups in 2019.
Do you think it'll be early for him, though, considering we're at pick 102?
We're at pick 102 in the third. I think he's probably closer to a mid-fourth round talent. I don't think you take him here. I do like Trill Williams. I do like Shaun Wade. Unless you're really feeling Israel.
Not this early.
Okay.
I think my feeling on Kerry Vincent is he plays with good technique and he's all out and all that, but he's not a top-level athlete.
Right.
No, he's not a top-level athlete, but we've seen some 49ers.
Oh, I didn't say he won't be good. I'm just...
He could be.
That pushes him down the board.
I think it's a little bit of a risk, and the fact that he didn't play this year also brings up some red flags and some concerns as well, because you don't have tape on him this year, so you don't know how much he's developed, if at all.
Yeah.
And the cornerback position is one of those positions where as a receiver, you can go run routes against air, or you can go run routes against Joe Schmo and at least get the comfort level. Not playing a year of college football and then coming into NFL with wide receiver speed is a whole different ballgame.
Maybe we should take KNDR Collectibles advice and not draft a corner, just sign the lockdown corner Brian Allen.
Big yikes.
I know who that is.
I don't know who it is, but
He's related to me.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, we definitely want the trash. We want
That's
the trash
Caleb.
can. We want the trash can.
Caleb, that's a good one. I like it,
100%
buddy.
want the trash can. What are you guys' thoughts here on Shaun Wade and Trill Williams? Where are you feeling?
I like them both. I think Shaun Wade has the ability to play inside and outside. I think Trill Williams is more a nickel corner.
Okay.
So if we want somebody that has more versatility, I would say we go with Shaun
I
Wade.
would go Wade before Williams, but both guys have a lot of potential.
All right, I think the consensus is in. I was fine with either one of these guys. It sounds like Shaun Wade is the pick, and Shaun Wade is the pick there, round 3, pick 102. Amon-Ra St. Brown goes immediately after that to the Rams. That doesn't actually surprise me. That seems like a pretty good fit there for
because
him.
they need Robert Woods Part 2.
They do. They just a nice big run of receivers there off the board. Some cornerbacks going right after that. So it's a good thing that we took the corner when we took the corner.
Dylan Moses falls to the 4th round.
Demetric Felton falls into the 4th and goes to the Bengals. That's a good take there.
Quincy Roche.
That's a really good pick there in round 4 for the Panthers. If he's there in round 4, oh my Lord.
Dave, your Cowboys just got a big-time guy.
They did get a big-time guy. Deontay Brown goes after that as well. It's a guy that's starting to move up a little bit on my boards. Just a smidge. Okay, guys. Linebackers available. Best available, some linebackers. You have Trey Smith here. A guy that I have fairly high on my board. 22. That wouldn't be a bad take necessarily.
Another guard? We just took a guard.
Yeah. I know. I don't think we can. Trill Williams is still available here.
Trill Williams is still...
See, I wouldn't hate taking corners back-to-back here because of how much the Niners need them.
I'm going to bring this up. When do we have to draft a quarterback?
Do we have to? Is that the rule? Because out of those guys, Shane Buechele, and it's not close to me.
Shane Buechele and Sam Ehlinger, I think.
Sam Ehlinger went to Texas.
I think, yes. The other guy that I like is Kroom, but he doesn't seem to be on PFF's board.
He was earlier. Yeah, Dustin Crum. He'll come up eventually.
Ian needs to book a flight home.
That's not nice.
Why isn't he on there?
He's not on here at all. So unless someone...
He was on there yesterday.
Unless someone took him, which would have been crazy, and we just somehow missed it.
Okay.
I think you can, but I think you wait until round 5.
So, okay.
I just want you to know
I just wanted to bring it up.
I just want you to know Cowboys took my guy.
They did. They did take your guy.
I mean, when I'm looking at...
Can you look at the interior O-line, please, Alex?
I don't think we need to go...
There's a guy I'm looking at. I just want to see where they have him ranked. If he's on here.
Name?
Yeah, he ain't even on here.
What's his name?
David Moore.
Yeah, he's not even on there. He's going to probably be considered an undrafted guy.
He was in the Senior Bowl.
Well, he still could be undrafted.
So the question is, do we want to just take the best available player? Do we want to draft on need?
I feel like here this is one of those spots where you could go best available, but I think we end up stacking at a position that we necessarily might not.
I think what we learned is we might not want to go guard as high as we went guard.
Except for the guard that we went
Is a
really good.
stud, yeah.
I think we may need to address some need here, right? So let's look at receivers. Let's see what we got. You have Nico Collins there. You have Amari Rodgers.
Oh, I just like Nico.
I still think we wait.
I think they go lower than this for Shi Smith or...
I don't think you have to take any of these guys here. So,
or your boy Marquez.
You still can wait on all of those guys.
I think we wait for a tight end.
Wait there as well.
I don't think we go running back.
What
about safety?
I was going to throw Kyle. You all know I love me some Talanoa Hufanga.
I like Hufanga, but
not this. A little lower.
I don't like any of these first safeties up here on the board. The first three I'm not fans of.
Yeah.
And the guys that I do like,
I like Stearns.
Stearns, but he's going to fall. It's 174 is what his rank is. No one's going to come up and take him that early.
The guys I like aren't even there. I like Nasruddin. He's not there.
Yep. I think we can definitely wait here. 100%. So let's see what else. If you just go look at best available, you have linebacker here from Georgia, guard from Illinois. I don't think any of us want to go interior O-line here. Linebacker, maybe. What about interior defensive line? Is anyone feeling no on that?
Not really. Not those.
Not the way we've been developing.
Look at the two guys there. What college they're from, and I'm saying no. So
did Robert Jones, offensive lineman, get drafted yet?
You'd go down. He's right there.
Right there. Robert Jones, Middle Tennessee.
I like him. I think he could play guard and tackle, but I don't know if I'm wanting to draft him after we just drafted a guard. I think we already took guys in the last two drafts that are like this. So to me, it wouldn't make sense to add another player to that.
So this, for us, then, this would normally be a spot where we want to trade back and try and get some more value somewhere else. We can't do that. Is there an edge rusher here that we really, really are in love with that probably won't be around for our next pick?
I like Patrick Jones, but I don't know if I like him enough, especially after just adding Gregory Rousseau.
Yeah.
And I like some guys that come up.
Patrick Johnson.
Love Patrick Johnson.
I like Patrick Johnson. I don't
love him. Patrick Johnson.
I don't love him.
I don't love him. I like Jonathan Cooper more than him, to be honest.
I like fair enough.
But
Amilcar Rashad also as well.
Yeah. I don't like his first name.
Raymond Johnson, I like him.
He's fairly talented as well.
But we can get him way late.
True. And same thing with William Bradley King. I think he's extremely raw, not polished at all, but he's got a lot. The size on that dude, watching him at on the senior day.
Bradley King.
Oh, man, he is a big boy. He's a big boy. Okay, I mean, I don't think...
I think it's coming down to
best available, right?
I honestly believe because it's a position of need, we might stack corner.
That's what I was thinking.
If you can't,
you seem very stressed.
All right.
I think you guys were both very high on Trill Williams.
So we go Trill Williams.
There.
If we go Trill Williams, then we've got a slot, nickel corner. We've got a
outside guy
Wade that can play outside if needed. Now, of course, these aren't the guys I want, but I think my guy I wanted, is he gone?
Who?
Look at the corners. Is this the corner
position?
This
is the corner position.
Who is it?
That's who I really want right there.
Even more than Trill Williams in this spot? Do you think he's a more complete
player? Not in this spot. That's why I'm saying maybe we push and wait for
Israel.
And he's an outside corner. I don't know. Trill Williams is a baller, though.
He is a baller. There's another guy, too, that's on your list, Ant, that you're a fan of.
It is. I like him too.
Diomador?
I like him.
Diomador Lenore?
He's another guy that fits what, we're looking for.
Yep. Another guy as well that's on my list, Shamar Jean Charles.
Watched him. Hated him.
You didn't like it at all?
Absolutely hated him.
Oh, my Lord.
He may be the worst.
I don't know about that. I love the physicality that he plays with.
Dude, he stands still. He
is tall. He is very tall a lot of the time.
He sits back and doesn't press. He doesn't do anything to make ground on the ball.
He presses on the ball pretty well.
Oh, I like that.
I don't like that.
Matt Burgos says draft all UCF because they're the real national champs.
Hey, now.
That's not a bad idea, Matt.
That's not.
So we just have to decide if we want to go Trill Williams.
Or do we reach on a quarterback?
I don't say we don't reach on a quarterback.
You don't want to take Shane Bichelle here?
No, it's too early. Too early.
It is too early.
Too much. Come on, it's a 4th round.
It is.
I think it's the edge rusher or it's
Corner.
Okay. And we have to decide if we want to go Trill Williams or Israel. I think it might be too early for
Would you
Israel.
Would you rather have Patrick Jones or would you rather have
Trill Williams.
Trill Williams?
Trill Williams.
There it is.
Agreed.
All right, Trill Williams it is, boys. There's the pick.
I'm not that huge on Patrick Jones. He's solid, but I'm not like in love with him.
Yeah.
So we got Kendrick Green.
We got some interesting stuff about to happen, I think.
Oh yeah.
Very, very
Always.
interesting.
Ambry Thomas.
Ambry Thomas
I didn't like
there.
him.
Not a huge fan. Trey Smith there to the
Jay
Texans.
Tufele.
That's a
hey,
very
your
good
cousin
take.
Jay likes the Dolphins. They picked Jay Tufele. That's
There you go, JJ.
rad.
It's rad. It's totally
Yeah, Matt
rad.
Burgos. We skipped the Michigan corner Ambry because he's not very good.
Oh, I mean, big yikes.
I think it's fit. You know, a lot of times too, when you look at these guys, you're looking at certain things and fit. And I just think with Sean Wade and Trill, we got guys that can play inside and outside.
Yeah, and
Trill
that's
more so inside, but Sean Wade can play both. Both come from big programs. You
True.
know, Ohio State, Sean Wade. Michigan, big program, but
absolutely.
Kellen Mond, the
Kellen
Brady
Mond.
replacement, huh?
Interesting.
Another good pick, Dave. Kerry Vincent. We know that's not really the Cowboys picking.
dude, but how many corners are the Cowboys going to draft in the last 2 drafts?
There goes Chuba Hubbard. Interesting pick right there.
Around
That's a good pick for
4.
Pittsburgh, I
Mhm.
think.
That is a really good pick for Pittsburgh. They got to do something
Nico
about their running
Collins,
backs.
By
Nico
interesting, I just
Collins.
mean it caught by
True.
Yeah, caught your eye.
Patrick Johnson going
Made it
top
all
of
the
the
way to the
5th.
5th.
That's about where I had him 4th.
Oh,
There's
and
Well, we weren't going to take a 3rd corner.
no.
I mean, unless we do with somebody in the 7th round or
That you're
something
taking
like
a fly on.
You're
Trey
taking a flyer.
Sermon, huh?
All the way in round 5. Josh Myers finally off the
That's a
board
good
of the
pick.
Panthers.
I'm a fan of Josh Myers. Played by Frank sucks.
Oh, man, that's rude. But I mean, he's not very good. Okay.
Oh my god, I got picked one pick before us.
Who's that?
Talanoa Funga.
Okay.
All right. We're in round 5, pick 156.
So who's going on?
We
right
still
now?
have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more picks
That's it?
left. We have 6 left, including this pick.
So I know you guys both are big fans of Marquez Stevenson. I'm not saying to pick him here. What I'm asking both of you is where do you?
I saw him too.
Because that's who I was thinking right there. Is
Kylan
Kylan Hill. But where do you guys see them able to pick Marquez Stevenson?
It's kind of surprising to me. I figured based on the speed alone that would jump him into the 3rd round. It's
I don't
looking
know.
like in most mock drafts, he's going in rounds 5 through late 6.
Yeah.
Late 6. So Marquez, I wouldn't reach on. Even though I have him in my top 5, I think I still wouldn't reach there. I would push it back and wait.
So we don't have to go quarterback here.
No.
But do we go running back? Do we go wide receiver? Because we got Shi Smith. We've got, our running backs that we like.
Personally, I don't think you can let Kylan Hill get past you here. But
Yeah.
I really like what he does on tape. His tape is...
he does a lot of good stuff. Matt Burgos says that Ambry's not good like the Niners aren't good.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Yep.
He's also asking why
Interesting.
we didn't grab a quarterback in the draft. And that's because we still have a guy on the board that we like, and he's going to be available here shortly, and we'll probably be taking him. We may not take him with our next pick. It may be the pick after that. I think he still might be available.
I
If
still
you
think
go to
that there's guys left
receivers-
better than Jared Goff, and that's Matt Burgos' quarterback.
There you go. That's
If
true.
you go to receivers, where do they have Stevenson ranked?
So let's look
He's
at...
below Shi Smith.
He is below Shi Smith.
I'm just curious where they have him ranked.
They have him down here at 211.
Woo! That's
So
a 6th
just
round
above
pick, Horst.
Trevon Grimes.
No, I'm just
And
curious.
I consider Grimes the 7th.
Because in my reasoning for seeing Stevenson down in like
I
this,
like him too.
down in like the
Retail.
6th round
Josh
is
Adams.
injuries.
Oh, you like both of these guys right here.
Yeah.
You're
I
big
know
fans.
why you like Josh. It's because you went to USC first.
No, you know why I like him? Because he reminds me of Mohamed Sanu.
Oh.
To me, body style, the way he runs routes, Mohamed Sanu.
Agreed. I mean, it's not a bad one.
So, do we go receiver?
Goff is gonna die in Detroit, according to Matt Burgos.
I think that's accurate.
Mike Burgos says we trade for Mariota, then we don't need to draft a quarterback.
Big yikes. Big, gigantic, fat yikes.
I'd rather have Jameis.
I'd rather have
Shi
Jimmy.
Smith there. I like Kylan Hill. I like also. What are your guys' thoughts You guys know how I feel about the receiver position and just adding depth constantly and consistently. I like Shi Smith there. I don't know if he's as dynamic as what I would like.
Another thing you need
but
to
he is a
consider
good receiver.
is either of them going to be available 17 picks from now?
I would say Kylan Hill probably. If there was going to be someone available, it's probably going to be Kylan Hill because the sad part is I could see the Eagles taking a receiver here in the next spot. I can see the Patriots taking a receiver. I can see potentially the Cardinals.
The Patriots went receiver already.
They still may go again.
True.
They still may go again there. There's a lot of teams here who could take receiver before us. I don't see as many of these teams taking running backs. So there is a chance if you go Shi Smith here that you get Kylan Hill here in a little bit in, as you just said, 17 picks.
But in the next 30 picks, are we going to be able to draft a quarterback?
Yes, absolutely. I don't think anyone's taking Shane.
Well, I am okay.
We still have the two guys on our board that we like are still there.
Yeah.
And they're projected at 188 and 190. And we have a pick at 182 and 173.
All right, so I say we go either Shi Smith or Kylan Hill.
I'm leading Shi Smith here.
All right, then let's go Shi Smith. You know he's one of my guys, so I will gladly go Shi Smith.
Baller alert.
Shi Smith there at 156.
Paulson Adebo.
Can Kylan Hill make
Wiggins.
it?
Let's see.
Wiggins is a bad pick. I don't like him.
Milton Williams.
Milton
First
Williams
name's Milton.
goes. That's a great name.
Diamador.
That's a good pick.
Lenore,
I like
absolutely.
him. Stupid Arizona. It's all right. Shi Smith's gonna work you.
Malik Herring there in round 5. That's not a terrible take. I'm not a big fan of his speed though.
Jackson.
We'll see if
Chauncey Golston.
I like Chauncey Goldson.
Not a bad pick there either.
Cooper's a guy I like.
I think Cooper's better than Goldson, actually.
Oh, in Seattle took
Caden
your
Stearns.
guys. Then there.
And there goes Kylan Hill at Baltimore.
I knew he wouldn't make it.
So it didn't work.
It didn't work out there. But I don't think it would have worked out. It doesn't look like we would have gotten one either way because they took receiver here.
We definitely wouldn't have got Shi Smith.
We wouldn't have got Shi
Yeah.
Smith. I think one of these other teams probably takes Shi Smith if we hadn't taken him and tried to get and took Kylan Hill there. So we definitely weren't going to get both of those guys in that spot. We're at 173 now.
Nice job, Alex. You just cost us the championship.
My apologies. Anyone here that we are
Go down farther.
in love with? Gentlemen.
No one I'm in love with, to be honest with you.
And I would not reach up here for Hamil Carr.
I don't think this would be a bad spot to go Shane Bichelle, but
This isn't a bad spot. It's really not a bad spot.
Do we like Shane Bichelle better than Sam Ellinger?
I do personally, but I don't know. Sam Ellinger did beat Shane Bichelle out for the job. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason they're only 2 spots away in rankings.
Correct. And
They're that close.
yeah.
I remember there was a coach, Ernest, in Thunder.
Yeah.
He was interesting.
It's true. Do we take
Are
one
you
here and
pooing over
Here's the
there?
thing. I think we could still probably wait and get one of these quarterbacks. And maybe they'll take the decision off our hands for us.
Yeah, but who is the guy that you're
I
going
don't
to
see
draft
anyone
over a quarterback as far as value?
Unless
goes?
your guy's the guy Marquez Stevenson and you want to go receiver
Not
again.
yet.
I don't think you have to yet.
We already went Shi Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, so now it's a
Well, let's take a look. See, let's see what.
look
you
at
got.
tight end. We
Kyle
could go
Granson?
Granson.
I do like Granson.
I'd like
we
Granson
could
as
go.
well.
We could go Granson with the next pick. If we
Well,
go
what
quarterback.
about Pro Wells? He's already pro.
Jesus?
All right. Well, let's just end. That's
Well,
the live stream,
that's
everybody.
it, guys.
We're not gonna finish the mock draft anymore. This guy's ruined it. Running back here. We already went running
Burgos
back. We're
has
not
a
going to go
question
another
that
one.
if we do pick Shane Bichelle, because we've made it clear we all like him, do we think he could push to start
No.
at the beginning? And
No.
my personal feeling is he needs development,
Yeah.
but I think he's a guy that has a lot of arm talent and could be developed into a good player.
I mean, I think the questions with Bichelle is the height. He's only 6'1". He's had some injury concerns, but I like him overall. I think he makes good reads. He makes good throws. He got better as his career went on. He's one of those guys that was kind of thrust into the starting job right away at Texas as a true freshman, and I think that hurt him overall. He shows a lot of promise, got a lot of ability. Ellinger's got a lot of ability. I think it's it's close. It's just what do we want to do? Because I don't think Bichelle's as athletic as Ellinger, but I'm high on Bichelle, so I think I'm kind of leaning towards going. I mean, unless there's somebody else you guys think.
I'm not seeing anybody here that his name pops and stands to me like, oh gosh, we have to take. As much as I like Hamilcar,
You guys know
Here-
I like Jarrett Patterson, but
I would rather ensure that
I don't think you guys are as big on him as I are.
I'm not big at him at all.
Alaric, I don't know how you say his first name. Alaric Jackson.
Alaric Jackson from Iowa.
I
like him a lot.
That's what I was about to say. At the only thing I've seen on him is at the Senior Bowl 1-on-1s, and he looked really good in those.
I'm just wondering if we need to go offensive line with what we already have. I mean, we kind of shored up the offensive line with, with our
I
second
do
round
think
pick.
Granson's ranked a little low here.
Agreed as well.
We can definitely get him with the next.
No, I just mean I think they have him ranked low.
I think we go quarterback. I think
All
this
right.
is it. I think this is the time.
This is the moment. Bichelle or Ellinger then?
I think it'll be more. All of us will agree on Bichelle, but I mean,
I agree as well.
I've been battling between both of them because I actually like both of them. But I think Bichelle's got something there. But I like Ellinger's physicalness.
As
I like
long as it's
Ellinger's
not Ian
physicalness.
Book.
It's not going to be Ian Book, no.
All right, so let's go Bichelle.
Sam Bichelle here, or Shane Bichelle, excuse me.
Bichelle.
My apologies. We got 8 picks left.
Thank you
Would
for
you
that
sit,
pick, New Orleans.
Would you sit somebody under Jimmy for a year from Rob Swink?
Definitely.
That's kind of what we were thinking about there, Rob, I think, with Bichelle, right?
Yeah, Bichelle or Ellinger. I think you're looking at drafting, and that's why you waited.
Yeah.
Because, in my opinion, there's the top flight quarterbacks that go in the first round, and then there's kind of like nothing in the middle. And I don't think Kellen Mond, I don't think that Kyle Trask, I don't think those guys are value in rounds 2 and 3. So you wait until you get to the 5th round and get your value in these two guys.
To me, the difference between Kellen Mond and Shane Bichelle is...
I don't even think it's that much. I think if you switch them roles in schools, that right now you're talking about Shane Bichelle being higher up than that, because I think he's actually a better quarterback.
I do notice that Alex's guy Hamilcar Rashad went.
He just went before us. Riley Cole also went. Daz Newsome, Charles Snowden, KJ Britt, Brendan James, Ramondre Stevenson.
It's an interesting pickup by Green Bay. I don't really think he fits their offense, Ramondre Stevenson.
No, he doesn't.
It's a little bit of an odd take there. Jarrett Patterson, a guy that you talked about during our draft rankings, that you're a big fan of their horse there at 186. He's available.
I know you guys.
Reed Blankenship, who Matt Burgos keeps spamming in the chat, he absolutely apparently loves him. He says anyone with the last name Blankenship is obviously a savage. I don't know about that, sir. But,
Mike Burgos does think that we should have got Shane Falco instead of Shane Bichelle. So that's a good.
That's not
Footsteps Falco.
What's it?
Yeah,
from Ohio
Footsteps
State?
Falco.
Any names here that you guys are in love with? We see Granson.
I keep going back to Granson and Alaric Jackson.
So this is a thing here where if we feel that this would be the place to pull the trigger on something like this, you could reach on a Kyle Granson and hope that Alaric Jackson, we do pick at 196 right before this. So there's a chance that Jackson could still be there if you're a big fan.
And I know you guys, I know it'd be doubling up, but I still think we're at least a pick away from thinking about him. But your guys' boy Stevenson,
correct. I think we still got some time on him. Matter of fact, let's pull it up and make sure we'll see where his.
He's like in the 200s on here.
I mean, he's still got some time. I think we're pretty.
We could go at 198 with him.
At 196,
196. The question is this the time you just drafted Shane Bichelle? Is it the time to draft his tight end, someone he's comfortable with, and Kylan Granson, and add him? Ross Dwelly's a restricted free agent. Maybe he's going to be gone. And you add Granson to the offense. He plays more of an H-back role, which is different than what George Kittle does. But it's different than Charlie Warner, where Charlie Warner's the main blocker.
Correct.
Could he be the new fill-in for Dwelly? He's definitely a better receiver than Ross Dwelly.
Yeah, I do like him a lot there. That would create some comfortability there, and you've seen that already. That Shanahan and Lynch have done that with the C.J. Beathard, George Kittle pairing. That has worked out well. It worked out really well for C.J. Beathard when he came in at the end of the season.
Worked out a little better for George Kittle.
Absolutely. I think Kyle Granson here is a safe pick. I don't feel like this is a reach here.
No.
I feel like all of these
Check
guys.
and see. Make sure no edge rushers got past us, because that's always a value pick.
Correct.
Raymond Johnson
I like him,
and
but not
Bradley
yet.
King. I like both those.
Yeah, I
guys.
like them, but not yet. So we can. I think we go.
Is that guy's name Carlo?
It is Carlo. It is Carlo Kemp. I wonder if he's related to
Sean Kemp.
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to go with Kyle Kemp and Tyler Kemp, the Ohio.
I mean, yeah, Michigan, Ohio.
It's close enough.
I'm leaning towards the tight end.
I like it.
I like it as well. I don't feel this is a reach here at
If
all.
you guys don't know much about Kyle Granson, for fans, he's a real nice person, big time person for you guys to go watch the film on. Underrated guy.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And matter of fact, too, we can always pull up some video clips after this too and check out some stuff. So anyone who has questions on guys, if you want to watch some highlights, we can do that as well.
Definitely.
Kyle Granson, though, that is going to be the selection there at 182. We pulled the trigger on it. It is done. Tom Brady.
There goes Patterson.
Patterson is gone. Tom Brady is going to end up like the guy who he took the starting job from.
And Alex, good job not
was that
going running back or receiver because Megan.
Is that a Drew Bledsoe reference? Congratulations there. What happened there?
Megan D wanted us to go running back or receiver, so good job making sure we didn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
Try. Branson is an awesome place to visit.
See?
It's great to know. Branson is a wonderful place to visit.
Ellinger's still there, just noting it.
That's interesting there. So we probably didn't have to reach where we reached. There's a good chance he still would have been available. Or one of them would have been available. So good to know for future references. Tariq Thompson went. Larry Brown went. Tommy Kramer.
Larry Brown coached the heck out of Allen Iverson.
Daddy did, man. Daddy did. You are just a gold mine. Again, here, Larry Jackson is still here. I like him. Right here at the spot.
Jason Hill says to bite your tongue because Ross Dolly is the man.
Okay. I think we're going to agree to disagree.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Mr. Jason Hill, what are you going to tender him? What are you going to give him? He's a restricted free agent.
First round, right?
I mean, is it a second round tender? Are you willing to pay him that much money?
Absolutely not. Under no circumstance. He hasn't shown enough to be a second round tender.
So if it's a general tender, I don't know. I don't know if they're high enough on him to sign him to that.
To a general tender? No, I would say no. No. Absolutely not. Under no circumstance. He should be making the minimum. Like the minimum. Not the tender minimum. He should be making
he should have had lots of opportunities last year with George Kittle being injured.
He didn't do really anything.
To me, he reminds me of old school Jamie Williams.
Jason did respond to you with a fourth.
A fourth? I mean, I just don't think you pay him that kind of money. I mean, I understand that we're fans, but sometimes you got to think more.
Okay, Mike Burgos, are you saying draft the tackle or like go get the tackle, like attack him?
All right. Well,
I think you better go draft.
If you're talking about my boy Alaric Jackson, that's a good idea.
To go tackle him or to draft him?
Well, I wouldn't try and tackle him.
That's probably smart.
He's a large gentleman.
He is a fairly large gentleman.
Just go low, horse.
I don't think it'll work.
Let's take a look at those edge rushers as well, just to make sure that we're not missing anything here.
I mean, Teron Jackson, Raymond Johnson.
You aren't seeing your boy Stevenson. See, I think Johnson and Bradley King are of similar value, and I think King will for sure still be there the next time we pick. That's personal opinion.
I think right now it's Alaric Jackson. That's what I think.
I think too. I think you have to go best available here.
Well, I mean, he's not the best available.
He's up there,
but he's one of the guys I like. I think in this area, he's a great value pick.
Mike Burgos says he meant both, and he wants to see me try to tackle Alaric Jackson.
Big yikes.
Thank you, Mike.
That would be solid.
Big yikes.
Would that make good content for the show?
I don't think it will.
Me attempting to tackle Alaric Jackson.
I don't know. We may have to some graphic warnings.
There's two guarantees.
Some special
I'll
editing.
Be dead.
There's two guarantees. Number one, horse will hit the ground hard.
That's true.
Number two, a lot of belly will show.
I don't know if that's good. Listen, as funny as that would be, I don't know if that's good for the ratings.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't know.
Matt also wants to know if Tebow's available to draft since he retired from baseball. If that makes him draftable again.
Definitely not.
Coming to a fantasy league near you?
Coming to a fantasy league near you, potentially. But as someone who follows Tim Tebow around a lot, under no.
He's going to end up playing with Manziel in the fan-controlled football.
Yeah.
Possibly having a good old time,
Mm-hmm.
Scoring touchdowns.
The minister and the sinister.
Win or lose, we booze,
The minister and the sinister might be the greatest super villain superhero combination in the history of the world. Oh my lord!
Hey, win or lose, we booze. You know?
Yeah.
All right, Alaric Jackson is the
All
pick.
right.
Horace is doing a little dance over there.
Woo, we got two picks left. This is where I have my fun.
Oh, this is where he has his fun.
7th round. I've got a list that you would not believe.
I can believe it. I mean, I've seen the list. I believe it.
CJ
I
Verdell.
believe it.
Yep, don't love him. I mean, you know who else isn't on here is the guy the Niners just met with is Jamar from
Marcus
Oregon
Stevenson
State.
Stevenson just went.
You know, some
to the
sites
Bears.
have him as high as like a 3rd rounder.
Correct. He is going to be one of those ones who
Not
is-
Stevenson.
who?
We're talking about good players.
We're talking about the running back from Oregon State.
Jamar
yes.
Jefferson.
Yes.
Niners met with him, and he's not bad. I like him. He kind of reminds me of a little bit of a thicker JaMychal Hasty. I mean, the way his running style and stuff. There goes Teron Jackson.
Teron Jackson's gone.
It's a good pick.
Josh Palmer goes.
Raymond Johnson.
Yep.
Good value.
Shocked Grimes goes in the 6th.
Well, I think right now too we're getting into the area where you're taking a flyer or you're getting somebody that's going to play special teams
Correct.
and add depth. So this is the time you're going to go receiver, linebacker, that kind of area, or safety.
Yeah. Shamar John Charles goes. It's a guy that I like that you're not a fan of, Ant.
Yeah, I hate him.
I know.
Yeah,
No,
I think
you
the
made-
fact
you made
that
it very
in the
clear.
6th round somebody lost a pick there.
Yikes.
Oh, the
William
guy
Beverly
wanted
Kings
one
go
pick.
right
Ooh.
before us.
Have you
before
watched
us.
much of Puka Williams, Ant?
I've watched a little bit of Puka Williams, not a lot.
I'm a
to
big
be
fan
honest
of
with
his
you.
first name.
I mean, there's that. there's that.
I mean, so now that we're in the 7th round, I think like I said, it comes down to safety, wide receiver, or linebacker.
Mhm.
Those are the kind of guys we're looking at because we're looking at guys that can add depth and play special teams.
Correct.
Guys that can fill out your practice squad. So I mean, the guys that are on my radar: Keith Taylor, Josh Beebe. Sorry, guys.
There we go.
Amari Gaynor and Rico Bossi. Those are my guys.
We have Rob Swink
Uh-huh.
saying that Tebow would definitely win in a field sobriety test. And I agree, Mr. Rob.
That is
Oh
accurate.
my lord. Again, me on my list here. There's Keith Taylor right there.
Yep.
Jacoby Stevens is on mine. Keith Taylor, Ant, you talked about. Mari Gaynor,
Yeah, he's
a
on
guy
mine
that
and
he's
yours.
both of ours, absolutely.
There's Rico Bussey.
There's a Bahibi.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Bussy? Boosie?
Yep,
I don't
Bussy,
know.
I think.
Bussy?
It's Josh I.
I
Rico?
like him too.
Trey Dean, not terrible either. I don't know if I like him above any of the other guys that have been listed
Do you
here.
think
as a
anyone
guy who's
called-
watched a lot of Florida games.
Do you think anyone called Josh there by his last name as he grew up?
Definitely not. Definitely
Probably
not.
had a nickname like Emo or Ima. Or...
The real question here is I think you can get it. I think you could wait and get Amari Gaynor with your next pick if
You
you
can
want to take him there.
I think you could get, definitely.
So
Well, Justin Rice
question
is
is
from Modesto, just so you know.
do you take a third cornerback, or do you add some safety depth if you don't feel like there's going to be a safety?
I mean, do you really have to add safety depth in the 7th round?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you can. You got Jarrett, you got Maiden still from
Sure.
last year. You got him. You still got Tarvarius Moore, Harris. So I know Harris is a restricted free agent.
He is
So there's
restricted.
no
free
guarantee.
But I'm
he'll be
saying they
back.
have the ability.
Well,
to
they
bring
also
him back.
signed Milifonu, so they have him. So they have depth already, experience depth. I mean I don't think it has to be a safety, but I wouldn't hate it because once again it's special teams.
Do you think that they should draft a tough guy from Ohio State?
No, because he's not even the toughest guy on that list, even though his name's Tough Borland. I don't like the fact that when he makes tackles, he twists people's ankles on the bottom and all that stuff.
I mean,
He twisted my guy Najee's ankle.
he did.
He's lucky he didn't get an Oakland stomp out, is what he's lucky he didn't get. Jerk.
Tyler Vaughn.
I'm not huge on any of these guys, to be honest with you. Other than
I like the two receivers, and I like Keith Taylor, and I like Gaynor.
okay,
I'm okay going to safety. Like I said, I'm just not as big a fan, but I understand it. Like I'm not against it.
Okay. I would say here, because I have watched some Keith Taylor tape, I do like Keith Taylor. I would be leaning that way.
Okay.
Well, you got the mouse.
It's true. I do have the mouse, but we have a thing called consensus.
We
here.
do.
We're not just doing our own thing.
Nashawn Wright's brother was on Last Chance U, so
Yeah, but Nashawn Wright's not that good.
No, the brother's better.
Very true. Okay, I say we go Keith Taylor here then.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, Keith Taylor it is.
Keith Traylor, like the defensive tackle?
Definitely not Keith
Oh.
Traylor. Nope, not Traylor. Mustafa Johnson.
Puka went.
Puka finally goes. Eubanks goes. Brendan Knox goes. Fields. See if we can't look at the chat here. Quentin Morris goes from Bowling Green.
I like Quentin Morris.
I do too, especially at that
At
also.
spot, yeah, he's about.
Jason Hill said we need to re-sign Jordan Reed.
It's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea. The problem is cost. How much will that cost?
Tell Mr. Jason Hill he has to decide between Ross Dwelly and Jordan Reed.
Which would you rather have?
We
Jason?
can't have both because you're going to need that money that you are going to tender Jordan or Ross Dwelly to sign Jordan Reed.
Correct.
I mean, that's just
Jason, your comment made me laugh, but we can't air that on TV.
that good, huh?
Oh my word! Yeah, we're gonna wait on that.
Yeah.
Should put you in timeout, but I won't. I'll leave it for now. Freedom of speech and all.
Freedom.
Freedom of speech
Matt
and all.
Burgo says to do the thing.
Oh, there we go. All right, so guys, we got some options here. We got some choices. Okay, we got some choices.
Jason does say Jordan Reed all day.
Jordan Reed all day. Well, I mean, thank God for that. Amari Gainer's still here, Ant, like we talked about.
I do have a question. Is Kairos Tonga from Tonga?
There's a good chance.
Well, yeah.
There's a good chance.
I would guess, especially going to BYU.
That's a pipeline for him.
Gainer, that's a nice value for that guy.
Yeah, right there in round 7. I think
like
this is the guy that we're all pretty
hopefully
comfortable with.
Matter BB doesn't get drafted, so I can sign him as an undrafted.
Well, either
free
him or
agent.
Bussy.
Absolutely.
One of the two.
Well, I'm getting a Matter BB, and then I'm also getting Troy Warner.
Is that officially how you say the name? A Matter BB?
A Matter BB, yeah.
Matter BB.
Yeah.
Okay, Amari Gainer was the pick there.
I agree with you, by the way. I don't know why Troy Warner isn't higher on people's boards. He doesn't seem to be on anyone's board at all.
I think he's going undrafted. I really do. Oh, there goes a Matter BB.
But he made some serious plays at BYU, and it's Fred Warner's brother.
49ers for life, red and gold said Reed all day. I think we all agree Reed over Dwelly.
Hey, if Jordan Reed wants to come back on a cheap deal, I'm all for that.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone even questions
Oh my gosh, Tampa Bay just picked the tough guy.
They did. They picked tough
Yeah,
Borland.
so that's their second linebacker of the draft.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess he's kind of just a throwaway here in the 7th round, but
Yeah.
He played like a throwaway in the championship game.
That is accurate. And Mr. Irrelevant is Dax.
Wow, we get a D- for Gregory Russo.
That's an interesting D-.
We got good grades on.
no, you know why you got a D- because it wasn't listed as need because they don't know anything about the 49ers.
How do they give us a C+ on Wyatt Davis?
Because it wasn't listed as need. Our needs were quarterback, wide receiver, and cornerback.
So
that's why when you get to Sean Wade, you get an A.
Yeah, the Shane
Wade.
Michelle,
you get an A+ because those are positions they consider of need.
correct.
Not what us as 49ers people actually.
Alaric Jackson should be an A.
At that spot, yeah. It should be at least a B, you would think. But again, they're looking at it in terms of need.
But let's go up and let's kind of go over these. So right away, Gregory Russo, right? This guy really helps our pass rush. He is an insurance policy. We don't know what's going to happen with D Ford. I know a lot of people think he's going to get cut. Now all the things going in there with the injury concerns, and now he gets money. He has an injury clause in his contract, so there's that. So we don't know what's going to happen with him. April 1st is kind of the day where we're going to have a really good idea what's going to happen with D Ford. So that's going to be, but at least we got somebody that's big-time talent. Has only played defensive end for a couple years, was a tight end in high school. Now he's translated. I'm sure he's putting a lot of size onto that frame. He's got a big frame. I mean, Horst, what do you think overall? Gregory Russo be a great addition to the opposite side of Nick Bosa.
Yeah, I think Gregory Russo is one of those guys. Had he played this year and had a similar year to his 2019 year, I don't remember the exact numbers, but he had like 12 plus sacks, a lot of tackles for loss.
15 sacks.
Was it 15? Wow.
15, yeah.
Had he had another 12 or so this year, we might be talking about a top 6 to 8 guy.
Well, let's think about the fact that if Gregory Russo would have played this year, he would have played on the opposite side of Jalen Phillips. And they had Roche.
And he had Roche. He did a nice three-man
Those
tandem
three guys would have been unbelievable pass rushers together. They would have caused a lot of problems.
Correct.
For the ACC.
I think you can't knock Russo on a lot of things. I like a lot of the things that he can do.
Yeah.
I like the speed, not as much as Ojulari, as you had pointed out. But just his production value, what he did in 19 is just it was phenomenal. It was great to watch. He's a great player. I think like I said, if this was an actual mock draft in which we were trying to make the best decision possible, we probably don't take Rousseau there. We probably trade back.
Right.
We probably stack up a little bit. But that's what today was. Today was supposed to be a little bit more of a challenging one for us because I think all of our instincts are kicking in at certain points in terms of things what we want to do. And I think all of us, for the most part, we're on the same page in terms of this might be a spot where we reach, or this might be a spot where we should make a trade or something along that nature. But to have to buckle down and make the best decision possible without having to trade back or trade it in and out, I think this is the best you could do in that situation, given the circumstance, given the fact that some of the guys that we wanted that would have been position of needs guys that would have gotten us a nice big fat A+ on this pick.
Yeah.
Just they weren't there. They were gone.
I mean, I did a draft the other day and ended up with 3 first-round picks, still got a B+, and I ended up with pass rusher, corner, and Zaven Collins in the first round. Come on, I had Ojulari, Zaven Collins, and I got Caleb Farley, and they gave me a B+. So you knew you were not going to get an A.
That's accurate. That's accurate. That second-round pick, Wyatt Davis, C+ from PFF, Horst. How do you feel about it?
I think that's crazy because to me, you could pick Wyatt Davis around 20 and I wouldn't blink at you if you were in need of a guard. So I think to me that would be an A pick to get Wyatt Davis at that spot. But I do want to throw out there as well that Rob Swing had solid advice of stay away from players with the last name Borland.
I mean, it's not a bad one.
Yeah.
49ers Red and Gold pointed out and said he'd rather go with Pitts there at 12. I think all of us agree if Pitts was there, that might actually be the pick. The problem is that in this mock draft, you can see he goes there at 9.
Yeah.
He goes there to the Broncos. So we didn't have a guy like Kyle Pitts. Trey Lance was available, so a lot of 49er fans who are watching this are probably going to get upset. Patrick Surtain was there as well. You might get upset with us at those spots. Mm-hmm. But we looked at that 12 spot. We've done a little more research than our first mock draft pick that we gave out to One Bar and Luke Vegas, where we picked Patrick Surtain. We've done a little more research. We're a little more familiar with these guys now. We're a little bit more comfortable with some of these guys in the second round, third round, fourth round. We like them a lot. And so for us there, at Surtain there at 12, wasn't a necessity.
Alex, can you roll back to the 20s?
Absolutely.
See, guys, what we're talking about here is we could have rolled back into the mid-20s, picked up extra picks, and we feel that J.C. Horn and Surtain don't have much difference between them.
I don't think there's a huge difference between the two players. They're both big, physical guys.
Or just like Ojulari and Gregory Rousseau, there's very minimal difference in value, and Ojulari goes 25th.
I just think they're different players. Like, they're different types of players, so it all goes on your preference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if you're really looking for the speed guy to take D Ford's spot, you know, to fill in that, I think it's Ojulari. If you're looking for, you know, the prototypical 49ers big defensive end, the Armstead with more quickness, then that's who you're looking for right there with Gregory Rousseau. Wyatt Davis, though, I don't care what they say about C+. That's an A+ player.
Yeah.
And we'll ride that C+ all the way through the NFC and into the playoffs. There's no problems right there. That guy is a solid player. Right away, he makes the offensive line so much better. He can start on day one. That is a solid player. I've been seeing him play since high school. Horst has too. Fantastic player.
And it creates depth at positions too, because you can now do a thing where if you wanted to put Brunskill at center, you could put Brunskill at center. If something were to happen to Wyatt Davis or something happens to Lincoln Tomlinson, you have pieces you can move around. Brunskill can go back to guard. Davis can go over to left guard if you need him to. You can keep him there and move Brunskill over. It just adds depth to that line. I don't think it's a bad pick here. I think this shows some flaws in PFF's grading system and how they're evaluating. Or this could have been based on our previous settings at the start. Maybe that's why they threw us a C+ here, because we definitely didn't draft for need at this spot at all.
I don't think you do draft. Well, the thing is, though, they don't understand, because interior offensive line, I think every 49er fan would agree, is an area of need because of the questions with Wesson Richburg, and we don't have Ben Garland signed. So we don't have a center, that's really healthy at this moment. So I think that is a good one. And then with Sean Wade, they gave us an A because he's a corner. Sean Wade has a lot of talent and a lot of ability. This is a guy that can play inside now. So even if they were to make moves, bring guys in, this guy could definitely add to the 49ers secondary. He could play inside. He could play outside. I like him.
Matt Rieger would like us to draft Ken Dorsey. So.
Not happening. Trill Williams was the next pick after that, a guy that you talked about that's very good in the slot. A lot of people probably haven't watched a lot of tape on Trill Williams.
Well, he plays at Syracuse.
And he plays at Syracuse. Their games aren't on TV most of the time. You don't think of Syracuse's defense as being elite or a team that can stop somebody, but Trill Williams in the slot is fantastic. I think he'd be a great replacement for a guy like K1 Williams, who may be going away and we may not be bringing back in. And so that would be a nice pick there that would shore up. I think we were all a little surprised he was still there at that pick at 117. We figured one of those two was going to be gone after whoever we took at 102. So the fact that they both were there, I think that would be, in an ideal world, if you don't go cornerback in the first round, that would be an ideal third round right there at 102 and 117.
Yeah. Wade, like you mentioned, I've been negative on him when we talk about him, but I was negative on him as second, third round. Once you get past pick 100, that's a very physically talented guy to get past 100.
Yeah. I mean, I watched a lot of his film on ESPN Ocho. He's really... he's really solid. No, Trill Williams is a great player. He plays in the slot, and he's a physical slot. He's able to come up and help stop the run. He has great ball skills. He ends up with interceptions, which the 49ers struggle with a lot of times is getting those turnovers, especially interceptions. The safeties don't create a lot, so they need it. We saw it last year. They had Jamar Taylor. He caused interceptions when he played in the slot. This is a guy that could fill in that role right away. Even if the 49ers only brought back one guy in Jason Verrett, they could fill out the roster with these guys, maybe a Killa Witherspoon on the veteran minimum, something like that, or the exception to, be able to get these guys back and have a solid secondary for next year.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Trill Williams, I mean, you wouldn't even have to make a new uniform for him. You could just give him K1 Williams jersey.
Okay.
No, but Trill Williams, I think...
He's a little bit bigger than K1 Williams.
I'd be really excited if they replaced K1 with Trill Williams. I think Trill Williams is actually more physically gifted than K1.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not saying he'll be as good as K1 day one, but he's got a lot of ability. That'd be a nice pickup right there.
Right. I think all of us right now feel like this was probably the best portion of our draft. I think other than Shane Buechele at 173, I think we could have waited probably. And after seeing how things kind of played out, it could have waited. But I feel like at this point of the draft, with the things we did here, I think all of us feel like this is actually probably more closer to a B than it is a D. I feel the Wyatt Davis pick is... Yeah. I feel the Wyatt Davis pick is an A. It's not even close.
Yeah.
And I think we pretty much, if you ran the table here, from rounds 1 all the way to that Shane Buechele pick in round 5, this is a home run draft. If the Niners do anything close to this.
Right.
So Jay Ellie wants to know who's replacing Trent Williams. I think, if I'm incorrect speaking for you guys, correct me, but I think right now we are still operating along the thought process that they are doing everything they can to re-sign Trent Williams.
Correct.
I think so.
And I think obviously if it becomes for sure that Trent Williams isn't coming back, then tackle moves to a very top priority.
Yeah, I think you'll know that in free agency. If Trent leaves, then you can make a move. I think there's also going to be guys that are going to get cut from other teams that might be cheaper. Maybe Ramczyk could be available that we could also slide in there if Trent Williams, does ultimately leave. I think that the 49ers are going to try to sign him, though, before free agency starts.
I agree with you there. After that, we had Shi Smith as the next pick off the board. Not as big on him as you are, but that's only because I haven't watched as much film on Shi Smith as you have. You've watched a butt ton of film on this guy. So why don't you give everybody a little more insight into why you like him here at this spot?
Number one, he is just a battler. He has great hands. He gets out there. He runs good routes. He's very physical. He's a positionless guy, so he can play inside. He can play outside. His height, you would think, would be a detriment, but it's not. He is a kind of a smaller version of Deebo Samuel. He fights for the ball, and I thought that was very characteristic of how he played. One-handed catches, that kind of thing. He was a go-to guy. This is a guy that you want to plug into your offense. He's a more physical version of Richie James. Right away, you could put him in that spot, and he could play. He's a guy that could fill in all the roles that you need Deebo Samuel to do. So if Deebo's gone, Shi Smith can do it. He's not overly fast. He's not overly big. He's just overly good.
That's very accurate.
Thank you. It was overly accurate.
Overly accurate.
Then we got Shane Buechele next.
Yeah.
Shane Buechele is a guy, for those of you who aren't familiar, don't watch a lot of SMU football. Shane Buechele is a guy that was a big-time recruit to University of Texas. I think he was a 5-star guy when they signed him. Was he 4? Okay.
4-star, yeah.
But he was a big-time get for Texas. And like you said earlier in the episode, he was kind of forced into action as a freshman on a not supremely talented team and kind of failed. He regrouped, transferred to SMU, and these last 2 years he's quietly played really well there in a pretty open offense. And I think the thing he exhibits, 2 things that Kyle really likes, is that he's smart and he's accurate. And those are 2 things Kyle loves. So I wouldn't be shocked if Kyle was interested in him.
Not at all.
But he is a little bit limited physically.
Is he?
To me, he is.
I mean, I don't think he's limited physically.
I haven't seen anything.
It depends on what the expectations for his limitations. What do you think is a physical limitation? If he doesn't throw it 100 yards in the air, you're like, what is the physical limitations?
He isn't, let's just put it this way. I think the thing we can all agree on is that he doesn't have the best arm strength in this class.
True.
But
he's not Jamarcus Russell either.
Exactly. And that's, for me, he is the safe quarterback in this draft that you can take some time to mold and see if there's anything there. You don't have to spend a whole lot on him. You're not banking on him to be the future. You're just seeing if this guy can mold into the quarterback you think he could be. It's a safe pick. It's not a reach.
Agreed.
It's not putting all your eggs into a basket. But what it is doing is trying to shore up the backup quarterback position for this season, just in case something happens to Jimmy or you're not able to make a move off of Jimmy. If something happens to Jimmy and he gets injured, you have someone there that you've drafted. Hopefully it's not week 1 right off the get-go and he has some more time. Get his feet wet and get his legs underneath him. I feel it's a safe pick.
Yeah.
He lost the job to Sam Ehlinger at Texas. But Sam Ehlinger, after he won the job, I mean, he had a really good year his junior year in 2019, but this year in 2020, he kind of took a big step back, and that's why he dropped down boards, and why I think he's probably going to continue to drop down some boards.
Well, Shane Buechele, he got injured, and that's what gave Ehlinger his chance. He got back in there, and he just didn't play well. You don't know how much of that is health, because a lot of people forget he was recruited by Charlie Strong. And when he went there, Charlie Strong was only there 1 year, his freshman year, and then he was gone. So he was trying to impress a new group, a new coach and everything, and he had to try to, get over that. Ehlinger was the coach's guy. So that's where we kind of get with Shane Buechele. I think he's a great quarterback. I think that in the 5th round is tremendous value. This is kind of like when the 49ers, when the Washington football team went out and drafted Kirk Cousins in a 4th round, knowing it was great value. This guy's a great value at 5th round because could he develop into a starter someday? Yes. If not, he's at least a legitimate backup because a lot of people forget he stayed 1 extra year and did back up Sam Ehlinger.
Correct. Someone brought up, Mr. Swink brought up, you have to watch those Texas QBs. You could end up with a Mahomes or a Manziel. Only thing to say to that is those are Texas A&M and Texas Tech. They're not UT Texas, and UT Texas has not been known for putting out very many good quarterbacks in the last decade or so.
True.
As Matt pointed out, Vince Young.
Vince Young is probably the only one, and that was just his rookie year.
Well, and Shanahan is going to know the ins and outs of Texas quarterbacks.
True.
Going there, Chris Sims being one of his best friends.
It's true.
Who was also a Texas quarterback. So they're going to have an idea of what's going to happen there.
Rob also says the heating is not very good in Texas at the moment.
He would be very aware of that.
He would be. We wish you Godspeed and all of that, and hopefully those turbines start working.
Don't mess with Texas.
Hopefully Caleb gets some snowshoes.
Get some snowshoes. That is for sure.
So, Kylan Granson, Alex, I want to hear your opinion on him.
The thing, as Ant said, he's more of a hybrid type. He's not a traditional. Fits a little bit more into that positionless role. He can do in a lot of different things. I'd be interested to see if there's at any chance if you don't move off of Juszczyk, or if you do move off of Juszczyk, if he could fit into a little bit more of that fullback role. Maybe not necessarily the blocking aspect, so much as the receiving option out of the backfield and putting him in on some receiving downs
Right.
for play action.
So, question for maybe the people who don't know much about him
Okay.
would be, by hybrid, do you mean a hybrid between a tight end and a wide receiver, or a tight end and a fullback?
Tight end and fullback. Closer to that.
That's what I thought you meant.
I think he is he's a guy that can play the slot. Also, sometimes a big slot like Jordan Reed.
But
So
but
what
he's not.
separates
But
him-
they should not be thinking. Fans don't think right away. Jordan Reed.
No,
Don't think that
I
he's
think
not
you
there
think
yet.
H back.
Yes.
I get what you're saying. What was the guy's name from the Redskins? Chris Cooley.
Yeah,
That's his peak right there. Seriously.
I mean,
I think so.
yeah.
That would be him at his peak.
Yeah, that's probably safe.
So for you, what separates Granson from Charlie Warner then?
Because Granson's a straight receiver. He
So
can
you
catch
think
the ball.
think he's a much more
way better
talented
ball
receiver?
skills. Charlie
Okay.
Warner is a better blocker than Granson. He's
Correct.
more physical than Granson. He gives you kind of the Toilolo role,
Yes.
as that's what he is. And then Granson would be an upgrade over Ross Dwelley in the pass game. You would have a legitimate second tight end that could play alongside George Kittle. And like you said, if Kyle Juszczyk is gone, they could use Warner and Granson in different ways to play the fullback role. Also, they might have to change the way they run their offense and go to a single back. It's like Kyle Juszczyk said. Shanahan's offense all depends on who is in it. There's no specific way to run it. It's all about who is on the field at a time. So he completely adjusts to his personnel. And so that was what he would do with Granson. He would adjust.
Kenny Sager said, "Great show, guys, and a good draft. We appreciate it, Kenny." Yeah, you've been a big supporter the last couple of live streams that we had.
Yep.
We really appreciate the support. Jay Ellie asks, he says that he likes the Jackson pick, but maybe a better guard than tackle. Alaric Jackson is the next guy on the list. Ant, some thoughts on him?
Yeah, he could be a guard. I think we drafted him with the thought that he could be a guard tackle, kind of like Brunskill and McKivitz, a guy that can play either one and gives us flexibility as we try to build and take care of the interior offensive line and yet stabilize the outside and the tackle positions. Make sure that if there's an injury, you got Justin Skule because now you might need another tackle because we don't know what's going to happen inside. According to this, we took Wyatt Davis, so our guard position is secure. That means Brunskill is either the swing tackle or he is the center, depending on what happens with Richburg.
Yep, I think, and once we get a little bit closer to the draft, and we get a little bit closer to knowing where guys are, what's
Right.
Richburg's status, what's D Ford's status, what's Trent Williams' status.
We should know those April 1st.
You hope so, because the sooner you know
Roster
that info,
money kicks in,
Yeah.
so we'll have an idea.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, Jackson to me. Once again, I haven't gotten around to watching much game film on him,
Mhm.
but after watching him at the Senior Bowl and one-on-ones, he's slept on a little bit in pass pro.
Right.
I think because I read the scouting reports the draft sites have on him, and they really get on him, saying he's slow-footed and so. When obviously one-on-one is not a game situation, I understand that, people, but one-on-ones, if you played line, are a little bit lean to defense,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Right.
So, to me, I didn't think Jackson had issues getting out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's one of the things he needs to work on, but I don't think he's stone-footed either.
No. I think when you look at Alaric Jackson, he reminds me of Colton McKivitz and Justin Skule, kind of an evaluation. The only difference is I actually think he is more physically gifted on the lower half to where he's more balanced and stuff. Where you've seen the other ones kind of
That's
look
basically what I was
clumsy
getting
at times.
Yeah.
So, John Benton really had to develop them that way. And you've seen it. They would get it, but it took him a little bit of time. Where you've seen like Brunskill, when he came in, he already had the lower half figured out, the balance and the right, footwork all the time. So that's why he's able to make the big jump and be able to play. Well, these other guys are still trying to do it because Skule leans a lot and McKivitz leans a lot and they thrust themselves forward. Those are things that they have to get, changed and fixed. And hopefully they can get that fixed here in the next year. So then they'll have some real solid depth and flexibility in the offensive line.
Absolutely. We took a guy next, Keith Taylor, Ant, that you had brought up to me today. It was the first time I saw his name.
Mhm.
Watched a little bit of film on him. Really, really liked him. I think this was the pick here that we took this with the idea being that really you're probably only going to be bringing back a guy like Jason Verrett and maybe one of those other young guys, and that was about it. There's no trades coming in the near future.
Right.
A mock draft like this kind of solidifies. So a Keith Taylor pick there, that third DB at this spot here in round 6, 7. we think that would solidify the secondary essentially for the next upcoming season.
I think you're drafting him to see what he can do, especially in the competition, in training camp, see if he can play at a high level, and then also translate to special teams. And if he doesn't make the roster, he's someone you can store on the practice squad that has the size and athletic ability that you're looking for. I know the big question, that's why he's in the 7th round. The question is physicality. He doesn't always make tackles, but I think it's some of it is technique, and they can fix it. And the other thing is his speed. They're worried about his speed because they think he's probably going to be a 4.6 guy. I don't agree with that because he ran track in high school, and he ran, fast, just over 10, fast enough that he could be, a serious 4.5 guy. And that is definitely fast enough to play in the 49ers scheme.
Yeah.
I think that's what you see when we're drafting corners. We're looking at the guys that fit the certain role. And Jason Verrett's kind of an outlier because he's not tall, he's not big. He's just really good.
Yeah.
So if they do go this way, this would make sense that they're going to stick to the cover 3. Sean Wade is a guy, that's why we took him earlier, that made sense that he can play in any scheme. So that's why he made that most sense for that.
Jay Ellie says E-Man as well coming back.
I believe he's a free agent.
He is a restricted free agent.
Correct.
So they would have to tender him. I think he's a possibility. And I think people need to hold their breath because I think Akilla Witherspoon is a possibility.
I think they're going to bring him
as
back
a veteran
too.
exemption. I think he's a possibility at just about $2 million. I think that might happen.
It very, very easily could. And then last, a guy that Ant, you and I are pretty high on, and Horst, you're the one who brought up the fact that he is a great value pick here at 238, Amari Gaynor out of Florida State. Horst, how do you feel about this guy?
The thing of once again, not a guy I've really sat down and studied, but he's a guy because my buddy here is a Florida State fan.
That is true.
So I do watch Florida State games just like I'll watch Florida games because he's a Florida guy, just so we have something to BS and talk about, maybe. So if I get a chance, I do watch their teams play. Amari Gaynor's a really athletic guy for a linebacker, and he's one of those guys. I don't know that Amari Gaynor is ever a solid starting linebacker in the NFL. But I think Amari Gaynor is one of those guys that could carve a 10-year career covering kickoffs and covering punts because of his athleticism and toughness.
Yeah, I mean, and what are the 49ers' history right now with developing linebackers? He's a guy with great athletic ability that plays the outside. Look what they've done with Azeez Al-Shaair and Flanagan Foles. Now you add Gaynor as a possibility, somebody that they could develop. Who knows what they could do with him? They have been doing outstanding with linebackers, especially late in the draft. I think the only way they would draft him is they thought they couldn't get him as an undrafted free agent, but could be value.
Oh, by the way, hi Reagan.
Yeah, hi Reagan. Megan Davidson asked a little while ago, what sleepers are you guys most excited about, and which do you really hope you can get in the draft? I don't know do we want to reveal any of that?
We can't reveal our sleepers.
I think we could release one or two.
A few of them.
Just kind of get it out there.
Why don't we each throw out one?
That's fine. Fine by me. Ant, we'll start with you. What do you got on sleepers? Guys that you really like.
I think we kind of went over some of my guys that I already that I like. But I don't know if he's completely a sleeper because we talked about him earlier. But if I don't think the 49ers would do it, but if I was the 49ers, I would do it, is Collins in the first round. Zaven Collins, to me, I think should be a top 10 pick. Athletic ability, the way that he reads. I mean, he's 6'3", he's 260-pound linebacker. He can rush the passer, but also play traditional 4-3 outside linebacker. To me, if the 49ers were to draft him and put him with Warner and Greenlaw, and then you would have the flexibility to leave him on the field in nickel situations as he could rush the passer, it just gives you a way more flexibility of what you're able to do in scheme. To me, I don't know if he's a sleeper. I don't know how many people actually know who he is because he went to a small school. But I think that he is a top 10 talent that's probably going to go in the 20s, 20 to 30 range, and somebody's going to get a steal of one heck of a player.
I'm curious with him because I watched the video that you guys are talking about, and he did look supremely gifted. I'm curious how he runs. Because I know they're not having a big combine, but they'll have a pro day, and I'm curious what he runs the 40 and what he tests agility wise. If you already know this, share.
I don't know it.
Oh,
I just watched him, make break away on interceptions and stuff, and he looks plenty fast enough.
But I think he's one of those. I agree with you that he's going to be a baller in the NFL, by the way. But I'm speaking of having studied the draft for years, and he played at Tulsa. That I think he's one of those guys at the 40 and agility and that stuff might make or break his draft position.
Yeah, I mean,
Unfortunately, because I don't think it should be that heavy of a thing.
to me,
But-
I believe they should be talking about him the same way they talked about Isaiah Simmons last year.
Wow, that's heavy.
I actually like him more than Isaiah Simmons does. That's just my opinion, though.
Oh, Jay Ellie is also a Florida State fan. He said, make
Nice.
sure you know.
Very, very nice. He
So-
also said he liked the other edge rusher from Miami as well. I think Phillips.
Jalen Phillips.
Jalen Phillips or Roche. A lot of people are high on Roche.
He said Phillips.
Phillips. I love Phillips.
Roche did look decent in the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
The one-on-ones he looked fairly good, but you should be looking good on the one-on-ones if you're a defensive end edge rusher sort of guy. I don't like him as much as I like Jalen Phillips and Rousseau, though.
Jalen Phillips, to me, is more polished as a pass rusher.
Correct.
His arm over swim move, fantastic.
Yeah, his swim is nice.
He is a legit pass rusher. He's the closest thing I've seen as far as hand placement stuff to Bosa in the last couple of years.
By the way, my guy that we're going here is a guy I talked to you about today. I'm going to throw out is David Moore from Grambling.
Good call. I like
He
it.
is a guard coming from the SWAC conference out of Grambling. What's funny is if their coach was asked at one point during the 2000, obviously they haven't played yet this year, but during the 2019 season, who was David Moore your best lineman? He said David Moore is our best player. That is what he said. He is our best offensive player.
Yeah.
And if you watch his video, he does have some technique things to show up, but he is heavy-handed. When he puts his hands on someone, they move.
That's true.
And that's what I really like about him. And he also, for his size, he's a big guy. I don't have exact measurements on him right here, but he's a big, strong guy. He gets out on screens and sweeps and stuff. There's several videos, you can look it up on YouTube, of him pulling out and just flattening poor safeties and corners that don't see him coming. So that's a guy to look out for. I don't know that he fits the 49ers scheme. I don't know that he's a guy they're going to look at, but it's just a guy, if you have played or coached offensive line, you will love his film.
Absolutely. I'm going to go with the safety, Richie Grant at UCF.
Talking about him
He was a
earlier.
guy I was talking to you about earlier. I watched a lot of film on him this week because I really couldn't make up my mind. The more I watched film, the more I fell in love with the guy. He's not so much of a sleeper because he is ranked a little bit higher. He was a guy who was ranked as one of the best safeties in college football this year, and he is up there on boards. He's projected usually around late round 2 to early round 4 is where he's falling in most mock drafts. But the reason why he's a sleeper for me is because I feel like he's a first-round talent. I feel like he could be a first-round talent type of guy. The things he can do on the field, how quick he is in space. A couple clips of him at UCF running down Kenneth Gainwell from Memphis from behind, and Gainwell's a fast dude. He is a fast dude. You can't deny that he's a fast dude. You can deny it, but I mean, I question the prescription glasses he got on.
He
Right
runs all over Tulane.
He runs all over Tulane. All right, Tulane has a fairly solid defense. I mean,
No, there's
we've
one
seen
guy.
we've seen a couple of guys who we like on film of theirs. But no, Richie Grant can kind of do a lot of things. He's a hard hitter. He's really good space. He's very physical. He's not a soft guy at all, and you've seen that a lot with the Niners safeties coming down in the box sometimes as well. I think he would fit in well with that group. He might be a good piece to have on special teams as well very early in his career. Could develop into something nice. The question would just be where he falls and where you could get him at, because I don't know if you take him in round 2. I maybe would consider him in round 3 if it's the right spot. But I think that he's a very, very talented guy. He might be one of the best safeties in this draft.
Where do you go again?
USF, I apologize. I said UCF.
No, I wasn't questioning.
I
him.
think let me see. I have it written down. It's UCF, not USF. UCF.
UCF.
Central
And
Florida.
his name was.
Richie Grant.
Okay, see, I don't know much about
Okay,
this guy.
I thought I wasn't
I'm
sure
not
if he was being
being.
serious. I wasn't sure if he was being serious or
If you
sarcastic there
guys
for a
don't
second.
know, I don't like skill position players. They're ugly and soft.
What about
So-
Shaka Tony?
Yes,
You can go ahead.
yes, I
Yeah.
love Shaka Tony.
I know I like him too.
Shaka
When I
Tony.
saw him on my list here,
Did he get drafted?
Yeah, he had to have. He probably went around the late 3rd, early 4th, somewhere in there. That would be my guess.
Shaka Tony was giving people problems
At
in
the Senior Bowl.
one-on-ones.
Yeah.
That's the only video I've watched of Shaka Tony so far, I'm going to be honest. and I didn't watch Penn State this year. But obviously during the shortened season, there's twice the games to watch usually, so I probably would have caught them at some point. But I saw him on those Senior Bowl one-on-ones that I was watching, and that guy was giving people issues. He's another guy. I even have his name written down on my computer to check out game film of after watching those.
Absolutely.
Did he not get? Is he not on there or something?
This is what I mean. It's like this is one of those guys who there are some places that have him very high, 3rd round, earlier, and there are some places who have him as like an undrafted, a guy who could go undrafted.
From where?
UCF.
Shaka, Tony.
I mean, we had to have missed him.
I don't think he was taken.
He had to have gotten drafted.
I don't think he was taken.
That guy has to go in that.
There's no way he went undrafted.
That 4th to 5th round range.
I don't remember seeing his name though.
Maybe earlier, maybe he went early. I don't know. But I like him.
Shaka Tony, yeah, big fan of Shaka Tony as well. I like him a lot.
And the guy from Washington is Tryon.
Yeah, Tryon. Have you seen film on Tryon?
I have not watched much film on him.
If you like Jalen Phillips, you'll like Joe Tryon. He is a Diet Coke version as of right now. He's not quite as polished as Jalen Phillips, but he has got some real skills. He opted out. He didn't play this year, so I think that's why he's not going to be a first rounder. Mm-hmm. But I think anywhere in the late 2nd, early 3rd, he would be a great value pick, especially in the 3rd round.
Just remember my playing days.
Remember him. I treasure him.
Right now, if you guys have any questions, we'll take about 5 of them. Any questions that you may have, send them in right now. Again, PFF graded us at about a B+. We felt it was significantly higher than that. Our first 2 picks especially were really good. We'll take the B+. Absolutely.
Kuiper would have gave us an A.
Todd. Tell you what, take a Gregory Rousseau, pick 12, solid pick, add some depth, shores up the D4 situation. You'd be hard pressed to tell me otherwise.
I don't know though. More and more I look at the depth in this draft, the more and more I'm unsure I would take an edge in the 1st round.
Well, I mean, the only question, like I said, Ojulari, I would take him in the 1st round, and then after that, it's our guy that didn't make it, from UAB.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that is the guy that I ultimately really like. I think he is right now got the Gregory Rousseau size. He's got athletic ability like that. I think a more value pick than Gregory Rousseau later on in the draft.
So, Jay Ellie your Florida State guy, wants to know if we have. By the way, Jay Ellie, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the button, please.
Yeah, please.
We put out content all the time. Thank you very much for watching the show.
It's been daily.
Glad to interact with you. It's been good. Do we have any sleeper offensive tackles? With me, maybe I don't know how big of a sleeper he is, but he did go to a small school. Is Dylan Radin?
Yeah, yes. I know what you're talking about. I think he's a guard though.
Well, he played tackle at.
He played.
I know,
North
but
Dakota
you saw
State.
the Senior Bowl.
But correct. I do also agree with you.
Yeah, but Dylan Radin's North Dakota State.
I'm trying to think. There's a couple that I like. To me, Walker Little's a sleeper late round guy, but I don't know. They had him going in the 2nd round on this.
Yeah, I think that tackle's kind of a weak position this year
in
the draft.
Depth-wise, yes.
I think if you don't get someone early, then then you're going to get like we did, Alaric Jackson later on. That's somebody that is a sleeper for us that we think that there's value with.
Well, and he kind of fits that swing mold where he can play. Yeah, probably play a couple different positions.
Right, and you got Cosme from Texas.
Yeah, I like Samuel Cosme, but I have concerns. I have questions, and 2nd round there. I don't take him in the 2nd.
Yeah, this is a real thin tackle draft, but it's a fairly deep interior draft for offensive line.
It is. I think there's more interior, and I think a lot of the tackles
are going to be guys that have to
translate
switch to
inside. Yeah,
agreed.
I don't think this is the year to replace Mike McGlinchey. You know what I mean? I really don't.
Unless you can get your hands on either Slater or obviously Penei Sewell.
I mean, I don't know if Slater is really the answer over McGlinchey. I think they're similar.
I'm not convinced.
I think Slater might still play guard in the NFL.
I think that's more likely than a lot of people. So, he could also end up playing center.
Couple other questions.
I think that's also a big possibility. Yeah.
Megan wants to know if there's anyone in the draft we did that we look back and think maybe we should have reached for. I'm pretty happy with the draft we made, but
I think the only guy that we missed out on that I would have enjoyed having was Kylan Hill.
Kylan Hill, yeah.
And then also Jordan Smith, the edge rusher in the 4th round. I think he went in the 3rd. I was kind of expecting him to fall in the 4th.
And then
I personally, Marquez Stevenson, I would have liked to have reached.
I know you're really big on him.
I'm very, very high on Marquez Stevenson. But at that spot, with how much we would have had to have reached for him, based on how the value and everyone else kind of graded out, and the fact that we took Shi Smith earlier, there was really no need to.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that I feel like if you're going to reach for a guy, I feel like he fits in the scheme fairly well.
Another quick question from our guy Kenny Seeger is that just a guess, who is the first free agent do you think the 49ers make an offer on? I'm going to go ahead and assume he means free agent from another team.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
I don't think this is the year the Niners in free agency go after major, the big name guys. I think you're going to see what they've been consistent with, a lot of maybe under the radar guys that turn out to be bigger deals than they are, like such as K'Wan Williams.
That's why I could see
or Hyder or guys like that.
Maybe I could see them going after Alden Smith though too as well. Someone in that kind of mold and fits that kind of.
I think you might see if a defensive tackle gets cut, you might see them go with somebody that they could get that's maybe made some money and go grab them and put them in there because they're probably not going to have the same defensive interior that they had last year. So I could see that being the case. Also, depending on who gets cut from New Orleans,
obviously,
I think everyone is seeing that there's a couple guys that are former 49ers that will probably be available.
Right now, a guy I'm going to put out there, I talked to you about him the other day. I think you were also pretty much a fan of his, was Alan Bailey. He former Chief, former Falcon. He was released by the Falcons. He's a guy that's 6'3", 6'4", 285, 290. He's kind of a poor man's Armstead.
Right.
Like he can play the outside and also he's a better pass rusher from the inside. I think he's a guy, I don't think you want him as your number 1 defensive tackle, but if they can get him on a fairly good contract, if he's your 3rd or 4th defensive tackle, that's a solid guy to bring in off the bench to rotate your interior guys out with and maybe get some run on pass rush downs from the inside. And then
Ellie asked about Wake Forest wide receiver Sage Surratt in the mid-round.
Sage Surratt. Yeah, I like him. He's a good player. He's big. I think he lacks top-end speed, but he seems to find a way to get behind people and make plays.
Crafty.
Yeah, he's physical and he breaks tackles. I like him. I think that he would be a value pick in the mid rounds. The question is, do you go receiver 4th round, late 3rd, early 4 when he's going to get drafted? Is that the compensatory pick in the 3rd round, him or Tylan Wallace, somebody like that? Or are you waiting like we did until the 5th round when you can get somebody like Shi Smith, or even late 4th round with somebody like Amari Rodgers? I mean, it really just, I guess, is what you're valuing at that point.
I think what, like you're saying, I agree, is with the Niners and receivers for this draft, it just depends where they feel like it's value for them.
Right.
Because this is another one of those drafts outside of those top. There's a lot of solid receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think 1st through 7th you can find a player at receiver.
I think last year was the deepest wide receiver draft ever.
Oh man!
In terms of game breaking talent, day one.
Oh my god!
No, I just think
overall
throughout the entire draft, all 7 rounds had big time players.
Your guy from Minnesota that went to.
Oh, Tyler
Tampa?
Johnson.
What round did he go in?
He went in like the 5th round, I believe.
Yeah,
5th or 6th round. And then you had Darnell Mooney that went in the 5th or 6th round to the Bears, and he had an excellent season.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's years where Tyler Johnson would have been a 2nd round pick.
I think Tyler Johnson was better than Rashad Bateman at Minnesota.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, you're not. I don't think you're wrong there.
Yeah, I think his game translates better to the NFL as well.
I agree. I was a little shocked to see the Raiders in our mock draft taking him as early as they took Rashad Bateman. But
I agree.
Kenny,
probably just bring back Nelson Aguilar.
This is probably like the last question.
This will be the last one right here from Kenny Seeger.
Kenny, and once again, thank you all you guys for participating.
Yep,
absolutely.
We appreciate it very much. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, so you can check out more of our videos if you enjoyed this one. Kenny Seeger wants to know if the Jets called the 49ers and said we will send you the 2 for Bosa straight across, would you do it?
Nope.
And I'm going to respond the same as him.
Hell to the Niz, no. Not for just the 2, no.
I mean, I think he's worth more than just the 2.
Yeah.
I would be tempted.
Listen, I'm not saying I'm not tempted, but I'm going to be tempted for like 2 seconds before I remember that it's Nick Bosa and he's worth more than just one first-round pick.
But now you're picking twice. You can replace Nick Bosa with pick 12.
That is true.
I did just buy a Nick Bosa Funko Pop, so
prefer no.
I mean,
that complicates things.
That is interesting, but I think honestly, I think just a 2 is not enough for Nick Bosa. But I would be tempted
I would
to
think
do that.
about it.
I'm thinking,
but
my gut.
Penei Sewell right there.
Correct. My gut is no. My gut is no. My heart though is like maybe we should.
Okay, here's something for you. The same thing. Do you trade up for 2 and then you drop back a couple spots? You trade Nick Bosa for number 2, and then you trade back for somebody that's wanting a quarterback
at 12.
And then no, I'm saying at 2, you drop back to like 3 or 4. Somebody comes up to get the quarterback.
Fields or Zach Wilson.
They come up to get their quarterback. You drop back a few spots. And then you stockpile picks, and you just put all of your picks into getting the top players you can get in the first 100 picks of the draft.
I mean, you could do that, but I would feel like that. Is that a team that feels like a sell move to me?
Is it?
That feels like
Is it?
If I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying it feels like a sell move.
So you're telling me that if you traded Nick Bosa and you ended up with at least 2 guys in the first round, Penei Sewell, and then you've got Gregory Rousseau, and then you drop at 12.
Georgia.
You drop at 12, pick up from Chicago, pick up the extra picks. There you go. All of a sudden you're stockpiling. I don't know. That
feels risky. It feels risky.
I like Jay Ellie's response. Number 2 is a start for Bosa.
2 is a start.
So I think we trade the 2 for Bosa, then trade the 2 for Joey Bosa.
Hey, that's not bad either.
No.
It'd be wild.
It would be wild, but we would be stuck with that contract.
And I don't know that he's the better Bosa. Nick might be better.
That's a hefty contract right there.
Jason Hill says, why did you pick in the first? We won't have a first this year. Deshaun Watson.
Jason, I love you.
Okay, Jason Hill, what are you giving up for Deshaun Watson? And if you tell me 3 1s, that's the start, bro.
Well, hold on. If it's 3 1s, I'm timing Jason out of the chat right now. You're putting time.
It's got to be more than 3 1s. They're not taking 3 1s right now.
Really?
I want to hear what this is, Jason, because I will literally put you in timeout if it's 3 1s.
I just don't think it's only 3 1s.
I could call him. We can put him live.
We'll save that.
Tell Jason. Are they going to trade back with Chicago first?
Are you going to trade back with Chicago for Jason? You just heard him say.
Yeah. Are you going to trade? If you trade back with Chicago, you might have the firepower to get Deshaun Watson.
We might. J. Ellie says Watson is not happening. We agree with you.
Thank you, Kenny.
J. Ellie. Most likely not happening.
Thanks, Kenny.
We appreciate the support. We appreciate the love. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Smash that thing into oblivion. Hit that notification bell while you're at it as well. That way you get notified every single time we do one of these live streams. Every time we post one of our daily videos at 11 a.m. Every single time our Tuesday and normal Friday episodes that come out at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You don't want to miss any of this great content. We are almost halfway to 1K.
We are.
Absolutely incredible. As a token of the appreciation, Sunday's video is going to be a brand new version of our channel trailer. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be a lot of fun as well. We got great content still coming up the rest of this week as well. Also,
our 500th follower gets to be our 500th follower, so that's
that's awesome.
Incredible.
You could always say you were 500. We know who 100 was.
That's correct.
JD Swink. Thank you for that. And I think that there's going to be a lot of cool stuff coming up for us, especially as we continue to break down the draft and as we get into free agency. That's when the 49ers roster is going to take shape, and we're going to be here every single minute of it. Looking forward to all you guys being a part of it, and I'm so glad that we had everyone on the chat. It was fun. I enjoy doing the live streams.
Yeah, real quick, for the people we know for sure that were on it, Megan, Rob, Jay Ellie, Kenny Seeger, Matt Rieger, Jason Hill, Ryan Ono,
Caleb,
the Burgoses,
Mike and Matt Burgoses.
Yep.
All you guys, thank you very much for being on, and thank you for participating. If you just watched, we can't see your names right now, but thank you very much as well
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
participating.
Big time. This was great. It was a lot of fun. I think these live streams are going a whole heck of a lot better and smoother than we all anticipated they were going to go. Number 2 in, it feels like we've been doing this for quite some time. We really enjoy it. We enjoy interacting with you. We enjoy the dynamic. It's a lot of fun for us. Like Horse said a few episodes back, if we weren't doing this, we would just be doing this.
We'd be doing this without the camera.
Yeah.
Exactly. So for us, this is the same. We're really comfortable in this setting, in this scenario. We're comfortable with all of you. We hope you enjoy. We hope to see you again on the next one. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., special video releasing. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, definitely make sure you check it out. And you guys, you know what time it is? Let's chalk another one up.